Hello children, I hope all of you have completed up to question number 10 in the problem set. Today we begin with question number 11. Draw circles with centers A, B and C, each of radius 3 centimeters such that each circle touches the other two circles. So let's see how to do this. Now, this is the analytical figure that I have drawn. Now, this is how you have to draw the actual figure. So, you have three circles with centers A, B, and C, and they have to be touching circles. Now, how do we write the analysis? Let circles with centers A, B, and C touch at the points P, Q, and R. A dash P dash B, B dash R dash C, and A dash Q dash C. This is by the theorem of touching circles, means all the 3 points are collinear, they lie on a straight line. Now AB equal to AP plus PB, that is 3 plus 3, 6 centimeter. Similarly, BC equal to CA equal to 6 centimeter. Now this is how you have to draw the analytical figure and write the analysis. Now, analytical figure is a rough figure in the sense the measures 3 and 3 centimeter may not be exactly 6 centimeter. Okay, that is only difference. So you are going to draw a rough figure, of course, with your pencil and scale. It should look neat and tidy. Only thing, the measures are not exactly the same what you write. That is what is meant by an analytical figure. Okay. Now we are going to draw the actual figure. And how do you do it? It's a construction. So first you're going to draw AB, which will be 6 centimeters. Okay. Now keeping your compass at point A and taking 6 centimeter as a measure, you're going to cut an arc. Similarly, your compass, the rounder, the steel point at B, same 6 centimeter measure, you're going to cut an arc. Now both these arcs are going to meet at the point C. Children, I hope you are able to see the point C where both these arcs meet. Okay. Now you have got an equilateral triangle which is 6 centimeter in measure. Now next what you have to do is keep the steel point at A, 3 centimeter radius. You will draw a circle. So you get a circle with A as the center and AP as the radius, which is 3 centimeter in measure. Next, steel point at B, same 3 centimeter measure, you're going to draw another circle. So you get another circle which touches the previous circle at point P. PB is 3 centimeters. Children, I hope it's clear. Next, keep your steel point at C. Take 3 centimeter as the radius, draw another circle, and this circle touches both these circles at points Q and R. Now this is how the actual figure should be drawn. It's a very simple construction, and children, I hope you have understood how to do it. Okay, so this is your actual figure. Now let's go to question number 12. Question number 12, prove that any 3 points on a circle cannot be collinear. What does that mean? You have to take any 3 points on a circle and you have to prove that they cannot be collinear, means it does not lie on a straight line. Okay, that's what you need to prove. So for this, let's consider this figure. So you are given a circle with center O. Points A, B, C lie on the circle. This is given. What must you prove? You have to prove points A, B, C cannot be collinear. That means they do not lie on a straight line. Construction. Draw segment AB, BC, OA, OB and OC. Okay. Proof. Points A, B, C lie on the circle. OA is equal to OB. What is the reason? They are the radii of the same circle. Therefore, point O lies on the perpendicular bisector of AB. Children, you remember the perpendicular bisector theorem that we learned. If there's a point which is equidistant from the two endpoints of a line, it means it lies on the perpendicular bisector. So point O lies on the perpendicular bisector of AB. Mark it as equation number 1. Similarly, OB equal to OC means point O lies on the perpendicular bisector of BC. Mark it as equation number 2. Therefore, perpendicular bisectors of AB and BC meet at the point O. Equation number 3. Now, let us assume that the points ABC are collinear, which means they are lying on a straight line. Now, it is just an assumption. Okay. If they were collinear, that is, if they were lying on a straight line, the perpendicular bisectors of AB and BC should be parallel and should not intersect. Correct? So if points ABC are collinear, that means they were on a straight line, and we were to draw the perpendicular bisectors of AB and BC, they should not intersect and they will be parallel to each other. Because children, if you remember, if you draw perpendicular lines to two lines which are on a same straight line, the angle that they form with ABC is 90 degrees each. And since interior angles, the sum makes it 180, these lines will be parallel. If you remember, we have learnt a corollary in last year when we learnt parallel lines. Okay. So they are parallel and do not intersect. Don't you think this line contradicts the statement 3? The statement 3 says perpendicular bisectors of AB and BC meet at O. Whereas here, if they were collinear, then they should not intersect and they should be parallel. So these two statements are contradictory. That means what? Our assumption that points A, B, and C are collinear is false. And hence, points A, B, and C are not collinear. This is how we prove it. Okay? Children, I hope it is clear. Next, we go to question number 13. Now, question number 13 is not there now for your exam. You must have gone through the reduced portion, I hope, children, which was put up. This question number 13 is not there. So we go to question number 14. So as we are going through the questions, I'll be telling you once again the sums which are not there, and so that will not be done. Okay. We go to question number 14. In figure 3.92, O is the center of a circle. Chord PQ is congruent to chord RS. If angle POR equal to 70 degrees and arc RS equal to 80 degrees, find measure of the arc PR, measure of the arc QS, and measure of the arc QSR. Now this is question number 14. So here, chord PQ is given congruent to chord RS. Angle POR is 70 degrees, arc RS equal to 80 degrees. Now, measure of arc PR is equal to angle POR, that is 70 degrees. Reason, definition of measure of minor arc. We know measure of an arc is equal to measure of the angle that it subtends at the center, and therefore it is 70 degrees. Coming to the second part, chord PQ is congruent to chord RS. Therefore, measure of the arc PQ equal to measure of the arc RS. What is the reason? Congruent chords subtend congruent arcs. Therefore, measure of the arc PQ is also equal to 80 degrees. Okay. Now, measure of the arc PQ plus measure of the arc PR plus measure of arc RS plus measure of the arc QS will be equal to 360 degrees because it is a measure of a circle. Now substituting the values, PQ we know is 80, PR is 70, RS is 80, arc QS, sum of all this is equal to 360 degrees. When you take 230 to the other side, you get measure of arc QS is equal to 130 degrees. So that's the second part of your question. Measure of arc QS is equal to 130. The third question is to find measure of arc QSR. How do I find QSR? You just have to add measure of arc QS plus measure of the arc SR. Arc addition axiom. So when you add 130 plus 80, your answer is 210 degrees. Now write all those 3 points, all the 3 question answers, one below the other that they have asked. Okay. So that's question number 14. Next, we go to the next question in the text. Now question number 15 and 16 are not there in your syllabus right now. It's been deleted. We go to question number 17. Pay attention, look at the question in your textbook, and as I explain to you, since it's an activity based sum, I'm going to explain to you. You please take a pencil and write it in your textbook, okay, with a pencil. In figure 3.95, chord EF is parallel to chord GH. Chord EF parallel to chord GH. Prove that chord EG congruent to chord FH. Fill in the blanks and write the proof. So, first draw segment GF. Angle EFG is equal to angle FGH. What is the reason? Alternate angles. That is equation 1. So in the box that is given, you have to write alternate angles. So write with a pencil alternate angles. Next, angle EFG is equal to half of measure of the arc EG. Angle EFG is equal to half of measure of the arc EG by inscribed angle theorem. That's equation 2. Next, angle FGH equal to half measure of the arc FH. Half measure of the arc FH. Inscribed angle theorem, equation 3. Therefore, measure of arc EG equal to measure of arc FH. Measure of arc EG equal to measure of arc FH from 1, 2 and 3. Chord EG congruent to chord FH. What is the reason you will write? Congruent arcs subtend congruent chords. Congruent arcs subtend congruent chords. Okay, so that will be your last blank. We finish with question number 17. Now again, question number 18 is not there for you. We go to question number 19. In figure 3.97, circles with centers C and D touch internally at point E. Okay, D lies on the inner circle. Chord EB of the outer circle intersects the inner circle at point A. Prove that segment EA congruent to segment AB. Okay, so this is question number 19, the figure that is drawn. You have to prove segment EA congruent to segment AB. So for the proof, draw segment ED and segment DA. Okay, that's your construction. Draw segment ED and segment DA. Now E dash C dash D by theorem of touching circles, ECD are in a straight line. Therefore, segment ED is the diameter of the smaller circle. Angle EAD equal to 90 degrees. What is the reason? Angle inscribed in a semicircle. Mark it as equation number 1. Now, segment DA is perpendicular to chord EB. Segment DA is perpendicular to chord EB. What is the reason? From 1. Because we know angle EAD is 90 degrees and therefore DA is perpendicular to EB. Therefore, EA is equal to AB. Reason? Perpendicular drawn from the center of a circle to the chord bisects the chord, and therefore segment EA is congruent to segment AB. Okay, so that's it. Next, After 19, question number 20. Question number 20 is an activity based sum, and I'm going to explain to you. You will write down the answer in the boxes as I explain it. In figure 3.98, segment AB is the diameter of a circle with center O. The bisector of angle ACB intersects the circle at the point D. Prove that segment AD congruent to segment BD. Complete the following proof by filling in the blanks. Draw segment OD. Angle ACB is equal to 90 degrees because it's angle inscribed in a semicircle. Angle DCB is equal to 45 degrees because CD is the bisector of angle C. Measure of the arc DB is equal to 90 degrees inscribed angle theorem, because if angle DCB is 45, measure of the arc DB will be 90 degrees inscribed angle theorem. So the measure of the arc will be double the measure of the angle inscribed by it. Okay, so measure of the arc DB will be 90 degrees. Now angle DOB is equal to how much? 90 degrees. Definition of measure of an arc. Angle DOB equal to 90 degrees because the arc that it subtends is 90 degrees. Therefore, the angle will be 90 degrees. Angle DOB equal to 90 degrees, equation number 1. Therefore, segment OA congruent to segment OB because they are the radii of the same circle. So in that box over there, you will write radii of the same circle, equation number 2. Therefore, line OD is the perpendicular bisector of segment AB. Line OD is the perpendicular bisector of segment AB from 1 and 2. And therefore, segment AD congruent to segment BD. Okay. So, that's question number 20. Now, question number 21, again, it has the concept is based on the portion that is deleted, and therefore 21 will not be there. Okay, I think it is not marked in your reduced syllabus, but then it can be done only with theorem of intersecting chords, and that is not being done for you, and therefore question number 21 will not be there for your exam. Okay, similarly question number 22 also is not there. Now we go to question number 23. Okay. Question number 23. In figure 3.101, two circles intersect at points M and N. Secants drawn through M and N intersect the circles at the points R, S, P and Q respectively. You have to prove SQ is parallel to RP. Okay. SQ parallel to RP. Okay, now you will, for the proof, draw segment MN. Angle MNQ is equal to angle MRP. This is corollary of cyclic quadrilateral theorem, equation number 1. Now, children, if you remember in the previous exercise, I had asked you to prove, to try out this is exterior angle theorem, wherein if I draw a cyclic quadrilateral like RMNP and angle MNQ is an exterior angle, we had proved angle MNQ is equal to angle MRP. It was just a corollary in your textbook and I asked you to try it out. I found a doubt in the doubt session wherein some student has asked me, Miss, how do I solve this? So for that particular child, I am telling you, I have explained this theorem once again at the end of the video, at the end of the lesson. I'll explain to you once again over here why it is equal for those of you who have not understood it. Okay. Now, how did we prove angle MNQ equal to angle MRP? How did we prove it? We proved angle MNQ plus angle MNP equal to 180 degrees because it's a linear pair. Okay. Then we also proved angle MRP plus angle MNP equal to 180 degrees because it's a cyclic quadrilateral. Opposite angles are supplementary. Now, angle MNP being common to both of them, we had equated both these equations. Angle MRP plus angle MNP equal to angle MNP plus angle MNQ. Now, angle MNP gets cancelled from both, and therefore we got angle MRP equal to angle MNQ. This is how we had proved the corollary of cyclic quadrilateral theorem. Okay, I had drawn the figure at the end of the video, at the end of the lesson, and I had explained. All right, now this is specifically for that particular child who had asked me the doubt. I hope it is clear now. I have explained the corollary once again, children. Okay, I hope it is clear, the ones who had not understood. Okay, so you have angle MNQ equal to angle MRP by the corollary of cyclic quadrilateral theorem. Now, angle MNQ plus angle MSQ equal to 180 degrees, theorem of cyclic quadrilateral. Now, angle, in place of angle MNQ, I'm going to write it as angle MRP plus angle MSQ equal to 180 degrees from 1. Angle MRP plus angle MSQ equal to 180 degrees from 1. Angle SRP plus angle RSQ equal to 180 degrees. What is the reason for it? Because R dash M dash S, they fall on a straight line. Therefore, segment SQ is parallel to segment RP because the interior angle tests for parallel lines. Sum of the interior angles is 180 and therefore SQ parallel to RP. Children, I hope it's clear now. Okay. Now here we are applying the corollary of cyclic quadrilateral theorem and proving this. So you have to be very clear how what is this corollary of cyclic quadrilateral theorem and how it is to be proved. And that is why I had done it in the previous exercise and I've explained to you once again here in this particular question. And I hope by now, children, it is clear. Okay. Next, question number 24 is again not there for your syllabus, and we go to question number 25. Question number 25. In figure 3.103, segment AD perpendicular to side BC. Segment BE perpendicular to side AC. Segment CF perpendicular to side AB. Point O is the orthocenter. What is meant by orthocenter? It is a point where the perpendicular bisectors of a triangle meet. Prove that point O is the incenter of triangle DEF. So what you have to prove is point O is also the incenter. What does incenter mean? It is a point where all the angle bisectors meet. Okay. So this point O, you have to prove it is a point where all the angle bisectors meet. So how do we do this sum? Pay attention, children. This is a little complicated sum and you really have to pay attention to understand this sum really well. Okay. Now look at the figure. We have drawn triangle ABC. We have drawn the perpendicular bisectors. So you have AD perpendicular to BC. You have BE perpendicular to AC. And you have CF perpendicular to AB. And all these three perpendicular bisectors meet at the point O, and therefore O is called as the orthocenter of triangle ABC. Your question is to prove that O is also the incenter of triangle ABC. That means you have to prove that the angle bisectors also meet at this point. So CF is the angle bisector, BO is the angle bisector, AO is the angle bisector. You have to prove these are angle bisectors and they meet at the point O. So we'll see how to do this. Draw segment EF, FD and DE. Okay, so the ones I have drawn in dotted lines, that is a construction. Now segment AD perpendicular to BC, BE perpendicular to AC, CF perpendicular to AB, mark it as equation number 1 that is given to you. Angle BFC equal to angle BEC equal to 90 degrees. Now if one angle, if they have given you angle they have given you CF perpendicular to AB, isn't it? Therefore, angle BFC also will be 90 degrees. Similarly, angle BEC also equal to 90 degrees. Now, points B and C subtend equal angles at two distinct points F and E on the same side of the line. If you remember, this is one of the theorems that we did after exercise 3.2, right? So children, those who have done it, we must be remembering. The ones who don't, please revise it so that you know what this means. This is a theorem that we have learned. Okay. Therefore, points B, F, E, and C are concyclic. What does concyclic mean? If I were to draw a circle, all these 4 points B, F, E, C would fall on that same circle. That's what is meant by concyclic. Now, if it was concyclic, I would get angle FEB congruent to angle FCB. Why? Because they would be angles inscribed in the same arc and are congruent. So, mark it as equation number 2. Angle FEB and angle FCB are congruent because they are angles inscribed in the same arc. So, if imagine there was a circle passing through these 4 points, FB would be the same arc which would be subtending angle FEB and angle FCB. That's why the angles are congruent. Okay, so that's equation number 2. Now, angle OEC and angle ODC equal to 90 degrees from equation number 1. Now, therefore, quadrilateral OECD is cyclic. What is the reason? Converse of cyclic quadrilateral theorem. What is this converse of cyclic quadrilateral theorem? Angle OEC plus angle ODC, you will get it equal to 180 degrees because both of them are 90 degrees. If you add both those angles, angle OEC plus angle ODC, you will get supplementary. If the opposite angles of a cyclic quadrilateral are supplementary, if opposite angles of a quadrilateral are supplementary, then that quadrilateral is a cyclic quadrilateral. So that's the converse. And therefore, quadrilateral OECD is cyclic by using the converse of cyclic quadrilateral theorem. Therefore, angle OED congruent to angle OCD. Why? Because they are angles inscribed in the same arc. Now, children, I told you OECD again is a cyclic. If I were to draw a circle, I would get a cyclic quadrilateral, and therefore angle OED and angle OCD would be subtended by the same arc, and therefore they will be congruent. Okay, that is angle OED congruent to angle FCB. Angle OED congruent to angle FCB because F dash O dash C, B dash D dash C. I have just rewritten it. Angle OED, instead of angle OCD, we have written it as angle FCB. Okay. So that is equation number 4. Now from 2 and 4, what do I get? Angle FEB congruent to angle OED. Okay. That is angle FEO congruent to angle OED because B dash O dash E. Again, I have rewritten it because they lie on the same straight line. And therefore, I get segment EO bisects angle FED. Similarly, we can prove segment DO bisects angle FDE and segment FO bisects angle DFE, and therefore O is the point of intersection of angle bisectors of triangle DEF, and therefore O is the incenter of triangle DEF. I know, children, this particular theorem is a little complicated. It's a little difficult to understand. You may have to go through this theorem that I've written at least 2-3 times and then try to figure out how it is being done. Now I'll explain to you again with in a very short form, okay, with angles 1, 2, and 3. If you look at the figure carefully, I have drawn angles 1, 2, and 3. Can you see those written with red? Okay. Now I'll just explain to you in a very simple way, try to understand and then go through this theorem once again. I think it'll be clear to you. Now here we will prove that B, F, E, C are points which are concyclic, right? So if B, F, E, C are concyclic, we get angle 1 congruent to angle 2 because these will be the angles subtended by the same arc. Okay. Next, You have quadrilateral OECD as a cyclic quadrilateral. Therefore, you get angle 2 congruent to angle 3 because these are again angles which are subtended by the same arc and hence are congruent. So what have we got? We got two equations, angle 1 equal to angle 2, you got angle 2 equal to angle 3. So since both angles 1 and 2 are congruent to angle 3, you have angle 1 congruent to angle 2. And therefore, you have OE as the bisector as of angle FED, correct? OE will be the angle bisector of angle FED. So it's that simple. Similarly, the other two angles also can be found that they are bisecting, and hence we have proved that O is also the incenter of triangle ABC. So basically it's only that much. We prove BFEC is concyclic, angle 1 congruent to angle 2. Quadrilateral OECD is cyclic quadrilateral theorem. Therefore, angle 2 congruent to angle 3. Therefore, angle 1 congruent to angle 2, and therefore OE is the angle bisector of angle FED. Basically, it's only that much, but the theorem has been written with measures of angles, and therefore it's a little long, and maybe you will find it difficult to understand. But now I think, children, it is easy, and if you go through this theorem now, it should be easy for you to understand. Okay. So with that, we finish with the last sum of the problem set. Okay. So those few questions which I have not told will not be there for your exam since they are deleted. Now, children, I hope you remember that you will be having a unit test on the first and the second chapter during the week, as you got from the 17th to the 21st. Okay. So you'll be having the first two chapters as a portion. Now study well. Though it's an MCQ exam, it will cover most of the portion of both the lessons. So study whatever I've asked you to, all the theorems that are there, the sums in the exercise, solve all of those, solve the solved examples which are there in your textbook, and be prepared for your exam. Okay. Your MCQ exam will be similar to what is there in your textbook. You'll be having a question with 4 options and you have to click on the correct one. So that is how it will be. You will read and you'll be able to understand. Prepare yourself well for the exam. Okay. All the best, children. And thank you.